Everyone keeps telling you to start investing right now, but what if jumping in too early is exactly what destroys your wealth? There's a step almost every new investor skips, and it's the reason so many people panic, sell at the worst time, and never recover.
So, you're wondering if now is a good time to start investing? My answer might surprise you. Don't do it. Not yet, anyway. See, it's not about what the market is doing today, it's about whether you've actually done the prep work. So, in this explainer, we're not going to talk about timing the market. We're going to talk about building the foundation that lets you actually succeed in it. Okay, let's dive right in. You've probably heard this a million times, right? Time in the market beats timing the market. And look, it's totally true, but there's a huge catch. It's the one part of the advice that almost always gets left out, and if you ignore it, it can completely blow up your long-term goals. And here it is. What if you can't actually stay in the market long enough for that time to work its magic? If you jump into investing without a solid foundation, life is going to happen. And when it does, you could be forced to sell everything at the absolute worst possible moment, not because you had a bad strategy, but because your foundation just wasn't strong enough to hold up. So before we even think about growing our money, we have to protect it. Let's start with the very first layer of defense, what I like to call your cash shield. This is all about reframing how we think about cash. The common view, right, is that cash just sits there, getting eaten away by inflation. But a much better way to see it is that accessible cash buys you options. It's not some lazy, idle asset. It's an active tool that gives you freedom and security. So what kind of options are we talking about here? We're talking about real, life-changing ones. It's the option to walk away from a job that's crushing your soul because you know you have a buffer. It's the option to watch the market dip without panic selling at a huge loss. And, maybe the most important one, it's the option to just slow down and actually be present with the people you love. That cash isn't just sitting there, it's buying you peace of mind. Okay, so we know we need a cash shield, but how big does it need to be? Let's talk about how to find your magic number. Now, you've probably heard the classic 3 to 6 months of expenses rule. And look, it's a decent starting point, but that's really all it is. The truth is, there's no single number that works for everyone. Your target depends completely on your life, your responsibilities, and frankly, your own comfort level with risk. So how do you actually figure out your number? Well, you got to look at these key things. Is your income super stable, like a salary, or are you self-employed where things can go up and down? Do you have other people depending on you or a mortgage payment you have to make? And you just have to be honest with yourself. How much uncertainty can you handle before you start stressing out? These are the questions that are going to shape your personal goal. Let's look at a real-world example to see how this all comes together. So in this case study, this person considers themselves self-employed, so they need a bigger cushion. They calculated that 6 months of their personal and business expenses comes to about $18,000. Then they set aside a 2-year buffer just for health insurance premiums. That's another $12,200. Add in a little extra, almost 10 grand, just for peace of mind, and their personal financial shield adds up to about $40,000. It's a number that's tailor-made for their life. Okay, seeing those really specific numbers might feel a bit intimidating. You might be thinking, how on earth do I get that kind of clarity on my own finances? Well, it all starts with one single fundamental practice. You have to get visibility of your money. And trust me, it's not as tedious as it sounds. You can start super simple with a basic spreadsheet or a user-friendly app like Wallet by Budget Bakers. The key is just getting into the habit of writing down what you spend and then taking a few minutes each week to look it over. Because you can't tell your money where to go until you know where it's been going. All right, once that cash shield is in place, there's one more layer of protection we absolutely have to talk about. It's one that so many people, especially when they're young, just completely overlook. This is the ultimate safety net. I mean, it's such a common way of thinking, is it? I'm young, I'm healthy, I'll be fine. What's the worst that could possibly happen? It's so easy to feel invincible. But, life has a funny way of throwing curveballs when you least expect it. And this is the harsh reality. A single unexpected medical issue, a sudden illness, an accident, can create a hospital bill so massive it could wipe out years of your savings and investments. Just poof, gone. It's a risk you just can't afford to take. This is exactly why the best time to get your health insurance sorted is when you feel like you don't need it. When you're young and healthy, your premiums are going to be way lower. And more importantly, it's so much easier to get great coverage before you develop some pre-existing condition, which can make it way harder or even impossible to get insured later on. So now we've got our cash shield and our safety net in place. Let's see how these two things come together to let you invest with real, genuine confidence. You see, the whole philosophy here is really a mindset shift. You're not just trying to grow your money, you're building a tough, robust system that's designed to protect it first, because real, sustainable growth can only happen on top of a secure foundation. A great way to think of it is like this. Your emergency fund and your health insurance, together, they form your financial bulletproof vest. They work together to shield your long-term investments from all the unexpected hits life is going to throw your way, whether that's losing a job, a medical crisis, or a family emergency. And that brings us right back to where we started. The real secret to successful investing isn't picking the perfect stock. It's having the ability to stay invested through thick and thin for a very, very long time. It's all about giving the incredible power of compounding the runway it needs to do its magic. Your financial foundation is what gives you that staying power. So the final question isn't when to invest. It's this. Is your foundation strong enough? Is your bulletproof vest in place? Don't rush into the market. Prepare for it. Because once that foundation is secure, you'll be ready to build wealth not just for a few years, but for a lifetime.
Here's the twist. The first step to building wealth isn't investing at all. This is where investing flips from risky to resilient. If you want to build wealth that actually lasts, subscribe, because investing isn't just about returns, it's about staying in the game long enough to earn them. And before you buy your next stock, ask yourself, is your foundation strong enough to hold it?